Hey guys, we are back with part 2 of Lovecraft Country. Stay tuned and listen.
And then when we start with the second one, it's called The Whities on the Moon. I love that title. It was beautiful. And that's when we get more into like the magic and things like that, because we didn't really see that. We saw the monsters,
right?
But there was magic in this. And we hear about Titus Braithwaite. They get into more of the white aspect, like how white people are seeing this. And I was just like, I knew it was something demonic. And we see that Tick is actually a part of the lineage of these white warlocks and all this magic stuff. He's a part of that. And they basically need him. They need to use him and dispose of him like white people were tending to do. They need to take all his essence and dispose of him. And the only reason he has these abilities is because somebody in your bloodline couldn't control themselves enough.
Right.
So they're upset that he has the ability, but they're going to use him to get it.
To try to take it back, to try.
I'm sorry. Because the thing is, the spell that they wanted to use him for was going to kill him.
Right.
And the only reason it didn't is because his ancestor Hannah saved his life.
Yes.
So,
the woman again, honey.
That is black women. So I guess when we also meet the characters, Uncle George and Letty they don't remember the monsters. How did that make y'all feel? Like, I think that was a statement to me about how we all can go through similar things and have very different
trauma.
reactions. Yeah.
I think that it spoke to me on a different, I saw it from a different vantage point. When they had all of their stuff that they like, it just showed me that sometimes black people can be bought and that they will accept whatever treatment that they're having as long as they're like getting these things that they want.
Wow.
I can totally agree with that.
Yikes. I mean, I think, again, going back to the episode that we talked about previously, it made me feel, the woke episode that we did, it made me feel like that oblivious part where it's like, okay, because I'm happy, because things are good for me, nothing else is going on. And only Uncle George and Letty had the forgetful spell on them. And Tick is like in his room trying to figure out what's going on, where are we, why are we here? Everything is just coming together too well that we know this is not real. And they were just like, nope, we don't know what you're talking about. We don't know what you're talking about. And it was very frustrating for him at that point to be like, it happened, and trying to keep explaining to them, like, stop being bought by these things that aren't really real. Like, and then he said it like on a very basic level, like outside of the magic. He's like, what kind of sense does it make that we show up to a place that we don't know anything about and they have everything
we need
in your size,
everything we want?
They got every book Uncle George likes. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
And you know, they say if it's too good to be true, it normally is.
It normally.
But they were under this spell. And I think sometimes, especially as of late, given what we've seen in the media, sometimes money can be a spell for some people.
Definitely.
That they can forget their humanity or the things that they've been through because they want to live in that moment of that pleasure of this, not having that responsibility and not having that weight.
You took the words literally right out my mouth.
You want to bet?
Like, I just think that when we get to a place of comfortability, we forget. You know, and think that it's always going to be. Like, we don't think that it's a possibility that things can go back to that place, or that life doesn't change, or, you know, and not to say that it always has to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you never should forget where you came from, you know, and it's ultimately our job to go back and help others. But the thing about it is we don't never go back because we so stuck on where we're at. And as long as I'm good, then that's all that matters. And I don't think that it's growth in life and growth in where we're trying to go as a people, as long as we have that mentality. I mean, we see it even in today, modern, you know, prime example is this election is just a total mess of just people thinking, well, this is where I'm at right now and this is how I'm going to vote, period, point blank. Is that
what Cassie said at the beginning of the song? This election, you know what I'm talking about? It's me and you.
Keep going.
This election.
I cannot. But I think that, you know, we just forget. We forget about all of our ancestors. We forget about the fear. We forget about the turmoil. It's just so quick to forget that we keep forgetting, basically. And we can't. It's just crazy. I'm just saying, it's just so crazy, and we're okay with it. A lot of people are okay with it.
Yeah.
Like they know, of the possibility of what could possibly be, but it's like, well, I'm good.
But
So
it's not. Yeah, it's just not right now.
yeah, it's not touching me
Yeah.
at this moment. So it's because it's not touching me, and that's how most people are with even things of voicing their opinion with certain things. Oh, it's not touching me right now, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Let's not address it. Let's not rock the boat. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All these little sayings because you don't want to be in the moment
And inconvenience.
Inconvenience.
Yeah. I feel like with that, it's just, I just think about on the history side of that, if the slaves that escaped, if Harriet Tubman never went back, we wouldn't be where we are today. If people didn't say this isn't right and I'm willing to sacrifice, we wouldn't be free right now. Like, and there's so many, like there was more on the line for them. I think now we have popularity, we have money, we have those sort of things on the line. These people had their lives, their families, all of that on the line, and they were willing to do that.
What was that? His great whatever.
Right.
Like
Hannah.
if she had,
That was pregnant.
Great
If
grandmother,
she was freaking pregnant,
Yep.
ran through a
burning
fire.
house,
Yep.
and still coming back to save him now.
Still
Oh my
coming back
gosh,
to
that's so
save him
crazy, Letty.
And it's like to see that people literally were like, this is worth this to me.
Right.
And Underground, which is a Misha Green show, Jurnee Smollett is also in it. And they
Yeah, I was
Jurnee
just watching it the other day. I was gonna bring
Underground?
that out.
Oh my goodness. Jurnee put a post on Instagram about how she loves working with Misha, and they kind of like really clicked because she was also a leading lady in that series. And in that, she becomes this character called the Black Rose, and she's escaped, and we see her escaping Jurnee, and she literally is a pregnant woman, and she's like, I have to go back. And the man, I guess he's her common law husband at that point, he's like, no, I'm not gonna let you sacrifice your life to go back. Like, you're free, let us stay free. And she's like, no, I have to go back. Like, I have to take and help the people that are still there. And there are some people that are led to do that. There are some people that have that passion and that drive, but there are also those people that's like, okay, well, that's up to them to get it.
Right.
It's up to them to get it. And
Like I fought for mine, they gotta fight for theirs.
Yeah.
I can't stand people like that.
And the thing that I say about that, because people do that a lot, like with their traumas, like, oh, well, I went through it, you'll be fine. If you went through it and it wasn't good for you,
Right.
why would you make somebody suffer through it too?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I get that everybody is not going to do everything. That's not. We don't want y'all to get turned around and be like, oh, they just trying to say everybody just. We know that everyone has an ordained time and purpose in their life. I understand that. Well, maybe I speak for myself. I understand that you have a set thing that you are designed to do, and everyone is not designed to do
the same
that.
thing, yeah.
But
Yes.
and we totally understand that. But at the same time, you are not designed to let your
people struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to do your part, whatever your part is.
Whatever
As long
it
as you
is.
do it, just do it. That's all we're saying.
Yes.
No matter how small or how big it is, just do your part. Don't just wash your hands of it
Yeah.
and say it ain't concerning me. That's all we're
You know
saying.
what? I actually had to stop talking to this guy because he told me that he wasn't voting.
Oh, I don't want to get into that because it's a lot of men like that
Ooh,
right
let's
You
now.
can't wash your hands of it. You can't wash your hands of it. You got to do your duty.
And the
got
only
to.
thing I'll say about that is the people that say they're not going to vote, I don't think they should take part in any part of this government. You shouldn't be in the stimulus because that's a part of the government that you don't want to support. You shouldn't be able to get tax write-offs. You shouldn't be up here talking about justice because you can't get justice in a system that you're not trying to fix.
And this is what will happen. What not just to this person, but I'm just saying. What normally happens is something has to affect
to them.
you
Yeah.
for you to understand that this is what we were
To
fighting
gain
for
sympathy.
the whole freaking time. Maybe if you had done your part, then we wouldn't be in this predicament. But no answer is an answer. And I can't stand when people
is.
do that and say that. When you can't, we have fought so hard to have a voice. And when you don't have a voice, just shut up. Just don't say nothing no more.
And when you vote, there are other things that you can vote for outside of the
Yeah.
president. So
And there's so
even
many
if
other things that,
many.
so many things were passed.
So many things were up
like
for
there's
grabs.
literally
Sorry.
there's literally a state that said that they are getting rid of whatever their constitutional guiding document is because it's outdated. And that's because of a vote. People literally said this doesn't work anymore. And there was enough votes to say we have to change it. And that's what we're saying. If we don't have a unified voice, and I hate to, bring up Bible stories, but like it's like the Tower of Babel. We don't know what those people, they were trying to get to heaven because they thought they was going to be up there with God. And as crazy as that was to us, because they were united and because they learned to speak the same language and to understand each other, they were able to get as close as they could get. And that's the thing. I think as Black people, because I'm all here for, I understand people's issues and sentiments about our government because it was never meant to govern us. And the Electoral College was created at a time when we were 3/5 of a person. So I understand why this is outdated and we need to change that. But at the same time, it's really hard to have people saying we need to change it and be progressive and build a society that's involving us and then say, but don't do it.
Right.
Like, if we're going to do that, what the voice needs to be, okay, because my thing is now, we are in an election year. That means we have 4 years until the next one.
Right.
As Black people, we need to sit and really say, what are we doing different? Like, don't bring out a Black party a month before the election. That's too late. That's not enough time.
Right.
Don't be a candidate after they've already been doing this for months. Don't come on the ballot talking about this is what I'm going to do. And, like, that's not the time. Right. You're not prepared and you're not doing this the right way. And I think if we really sit down right now and take an inventory of what we want, who we want to lead us, and how we want to do this, we can be successful at the next time. But we cannot think we're going to do this last minute, unplanned, unprepared, and then say this don't work for us. We're not even working for ourselves. We're not even unified amongst ourselves. We have Black leaders that we give too much attention and time to that do nothing for us outside of entertainment. Nothing for us. You don't go to the circus and tell a clown, go fill out my resume because you did good at the circus. Right. You don't do that. But we do that with entertainers. We give them so much space in our minds and in our actions because of their influence. For what?
And not even helping the ones that's out here day to day to day trying to change laws and fight.
Beyonce is a great help.
Beyonce is a great help.
But don't count her.
That's also with, she's showing that she's doing something with her platform. That's different.
Exactly.
But I think that we as a people, and it's a sick obsession with celebrities and money. Right. For some reason, we think that when a person gets money, it makes them moral. And it doesn't. It really doesn't. There's some people that it's like
makes them immoral.
It does. It intensifies what they were doing when they didn't have it. Literally. Yeah. And I think we sit there and we say like, oh, this person has money. They should be given this. They should be given that. And so many times people with money show you they're not giving anything. They barely paying their taxes. So why do you think they're going to give you anything?
And, me and Trinice was saying earlier, money is the root of all evil. And we see this in this whole storyline with Atticus being able to walk into this mansion.
We see the Braithwaites with money.
With this, with all this money, and they thinking that they could buy.
I don't even know if they had money or if they just had magic.
They had both because when they were talking, and that's what I was gonna say, it's a combination. They had money and magic, and
I think, guys, for me, it's the magic for me. So, the magic was a symbolism of privilege for me.
Absolutely, yes. But they were talking, and I think Atticus asked, she ready. Atticus asked the question about, is this the Klan? And Christina was like, oh no, the Klan is too poor for us. So that's how I know they have money and privilege, because they said the Klan is a lower. This is they're not even.
I mean, also to let you know that we know them. But also, she was trying to let them know we know them. We're affiliated, but
they wish they could be us.
They wish, right?
We doing it right,
right.
But yeah, in this episode, there was so many. We go from this very Black beginning to this very white interruption of our characters. Literally, they're holding them like, I felt like they was like guinea pigs because they had them in these little rooms like cages, and they were watching them at one point,
trying to learn from them.
Or even torture them. I think because they had them going through a very traumatic moment or reliving their traumas, and they had this whole gang of, I guess they were warlocks, watching them,
maybe to see how they survive. You know what I'm saying? Because that could be a definitely similar. Yeah, I was going to say that could be a great symbol of them trying to see, like, we put them through this, they've done, and they still here. Like, how are they doing this? And throwing, their greatest wants and their greatest needs and their greatest desires at them. And yet still we see that they even overcome that eventually.
Because like a young Black man once said, Black people always prevail.
Yes, he did. And then the one scene, speaking to that, the scene that really hit me emotionally was like after they After they came out of those rooms with whatever this sick, twisted experiment was, Uncle George grabbed Letty and grabbed Tick and like held them close, and he basically told them, "Don't let what they say about you make you question who you are."
That's right.
And he was telling Tick, like, you were a good boy and you're a great man, and don't let what people say about you or what they're trying to make you think that you are be what you ever believe about yourself. And his little experience wasn't as bad, but that's because it was full of secrets. And Letty was like visibly shaken up about what happened with her, and Tick was just, his adrenaline was racing.
Right.
So it was just like, to that moment, that reassuring, and that also that male figure that's present, that's involved, that's affected. Like, it's different from, because Uncle George could have just been like, whatever.
Right.
But the fact that he said, I need to, in this moment, reassure them.
Yeah, and let them know that I'm here, that I understand.
Yeah, I think that's speaking to the necessity of a black paternal figure. I think mothers are important. I also think fathers are equally important. So I think to have that happen, and to have him come into comfort, and that's something that they don't teach a lot of black men. We don't see them comforting. They would be like, all right, man up, or all right, it happened, we got through it. Like, no, he literally took the time to acknowledge the trauma, to acknowledge the emotion, and then to say, we can't let this define us. Now to make a plan. And even in that moment, Uncle George in his situation was already coming up with a plan.
Right.
He was leading, what we're going to do next. And he wasn't going to be able to tell Letty, because apparently this was an all-boys club, so here's the sexism and gender norms again. And we see that Tick and Uncle George have to go to this formal dinner. And then we get there, and what his name? His name not Titus. What's Samuel? Braithwaite.
Who?
Christina's father.
Titus.
I could have sworn Titus was the old man, the ghost that they fought.
I thought we said his name was Hiram.
No, Hiram was the one in the house.
No, but Titus was definitely...
Titus was the one that came out. They brought him back from the past, and he was like, those niggers have the... Remember when I kept laughing about that?
Well, maybe he was a senior or something. I don't know.
Titus is like the one that started the slave house fire. But anyway, I want to say it was like Samuel or something, but whatever. Christina's father, he basically was like, at this point, and this is speaking to like biblical manipulation, because they do that a lot.
Yeah.
But he was saying, like, in the garden, the man was perfect, everything was right, and then the woman ruined it. So this is why Christina, even though she has magic in her and it's her family blood and birthright, because her and Tick are cousins because of the blood, and but she can't do anything because she's a woman.
Right.
So even though
within
she's white,
that circle,
even though she's white, she's cut off because of her sex. And
she does know a whole lot. I was going to say, like, she didn't study, honey.
Yeah, she's aware, and she has the abilities and the power. The only thing she doesn't have is permission.
Right.
Literally. And so once we get there, we see that he's just like, basically the Bible was the Garden of Eden was the perfect time. The man can name everything. We had immortality, so we want to get back to that.
And that's what he wanted. He wanted to be immortal.
But he didn't see black people as a part of that.
Right.
This was the white man. And they wanted to basically sacrifice Tick to get back to the Garden of Eden and to have immortality. And then he even like cut out his liver and all of that. But the thing about that, like the biblical manipulation, there's so many people and so many things that they allow the Bible to be what they want.
Oh, definitely.
And they manipulate it to say what they want, regardless of what the facts and the truths are. And again, this is why it's important for you to know who you are, to know where you are, and to know your own history, because people will make it what they want it to be. And you got to know what it really is.
Definitely.
But that whole scene with them doing the ritual, I was really like, okay, all right. How did you feel about that? Because I know that was the first like magic part.
I mean, I just was like, what is this? Like, this is, I was going to say Illuminati, but this is worse. This is like some real witchcraft, over the top. Like honestly, when I looked at it, I was like, some people really do this. Some people really believe this. There are people out there that legit believe that this type of stuff can happen, and they can become something else. You can only become what God wants you to become, people.
The word.
But I was just like, all right. I was already, a little shaky from the monsters. So I was just like, where are they trying to go with this exactly? Not that I didn't understand the writing of it. I just was like, are they crazy? Like, this is not even going to work, because at the end of the day, black men, I feel like in some type of way, they always come back to themselves and realize that they have more power than what other people think that they have. So, like, you know how they say, you know, the elephant can stay chained up. Basically, I feel like we're like people try to put us in that box of being that elephant, but we're more like that lion of realizing who we are.
Wow.
So it don't take us long, and we remember it all.
Because we really elephants.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's really true, because when we see Atticus at the beginning of this, he has no clue about any of it. Like, no clue about this whole history and this magical, none of that. He don't know what's going on. And Uncle George picks up a book, read a book. It was a song, READABOOK. Used to come on BET late at night. I loved it. But anyway, and Uncle George picks up the bylaws of the order. It's called the Order of Ancient Dawn. That's what the whole witchcraft organization was. And he reads it, and then they have this whole like dinner, and he basically is like, y'all got us here for a reason, and it's because he's entitled to this power. And y'all, they didn't tell him that.
Right.
When Tick came there, they didn't tell him anything about you know, you're the piece that we need.
Right.
They just brought him in and put him in a place and expected him to play that role. Uncle George gained that knowledge through studying and through knowing what was going on, and he called them out about it. So once that happened, now Tick is like, okay, I'm more powerful than I even knew.
Exactly.
And when they tried to use him for the ritual, he even had his ancestor, and we talked about her name is Hannah, had his ancestor that came and basically helped to circumvent what they wanted to do. Because at the end of the ritual, they would have used up all of Atticus's power.
Right.
And that would have been the end of his life. So he unknowingly went into the situation, allowing this to happen to him, and came out even stronger than he would have even known. So that's the thing that's...
So he gained, and the thing about it is that he gained knowledge, and he didn't have to let everybody know what he had gained.
Yeah.
And that's the part that sometimes we forget about. Like, soon as we get the knowledge, we out blabbering. Oh, I know this, I know this, and letting everybody know, you know, what we know, and then they stop us.
Yeah, but knowing it, but also using it.
Yes.
Because he was very, like, they gave him the ring.
They gave him everything he needed.
In that moment, he was just like, okay. And it was a very quick turnaround where he had to figure it out, like, in that instant. And I was trying to figure out, I'm not sure, Candace has been very deep this show, but when he put his hand up, it was like this black aura that came out of that ring. And I wasn't sure if that was more so like, this is the antithesis of what y'all are doing, or if this is the opposite, or what. But it was just like, what's going on? Because we did see at one point, like, leaves and stuff were coming out, like he was going into the Garden of Eden. But when he put his hand up, it just became like darker, and then we saw that smoke haze, and then we saw the ancestor basically like mouthing something. We don't know what she said, but she was mouthing something. So I don't know. But
I could go back to the episode.
Yeah, but it was visually, again, we talked about that. It was wild.
Yeah.
And then the whole house is just crumbling, and
she's still leading them out.
Yeah, but we missed the part where they tried to escape and they shot Letty.
Yes. Poor Letty. She went through some stuff, man.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they shot her. And it was really sad. It was sad. So how do you feel about the whole magic, Tick, all of that?
About Tick having magic?
How they expressed it as a black man in a white world.
Or if you want to talk about the shooting, because that's when you really get to it.
Yeah.
About her getting shot and how she got healed and everything.
Well, I mean, it was magic. So I just like white people have the ability to do any and everything. So, and that's what just, you know what? Sorry, they don't have the ability to do, and they have the privilege to do any and everything. We really have the ability, and you know, some of our longtime listeners, if they are white, they probably think that I'm a black supremacist and whatever. But we oftentimes have the ability to do things. We just don't have the means. So I think that it is amazing that Atticus has the ability.
And now he has the means.
But he does not have the privilege still. So that is because he's black.
That's deep. That is deep.
So it's like you have to just continue to fight for, because we'll never have the privilege. Like,
not in their society.
Yeah,
right.
And that is why I believe in segregation. This is a struggle for me because, I think that we should be able to live, and it's like, let the white people that want to be with us come live with us. Yeah. That's fine. But if y'all don't, just go ahead and live and be somewhere else.
Like the bus boycotts. When they was on the bus boycotts, the white people was like, all right, we'll get on this bus with you. And the people that didn't don't.
Right. Or like the people who were allies during Harriet's movement. Like,
yeah.
That's like, if y'all want to be a part, be a part. If y'all don't, then go somewhere else. Y'all don't have to tear us down because
you don't want to be a part,
or y'all don't want us to have as well. So, but I think that Atticus having the ability.
Samuel Braithwaite. Samuel.
Oh, I was going to say cereal.
Okay,
yeah, Titus is the original evil.
Okay.
And Samuel is a descendant.
This paper I was given was wrong. That's all I'm saying.
I just was updating you, that's all. But y'all didn't believe me, so I want to receipts.
Because this was the fact that I was given.
It's okay. I just updated your facts, that's all. Don't trip on me.
Anywho, I don't need this. You did. I think that it's good for Atticus to have these powers because in the long run it'll help us. It's kind of like niggas who could read back in the day. It's just like, like this is illegal. You should know how to read. Mm-hmm. But the ones that could, they helped out along the way. Now, was it still a problem? Could you read in front of other people? No.
And you had to check and see. They did a really good job in Underground of showing that how you couldn't even trust certain black people. You had to be very sure of who was loyal, and even then it would change on you. So, oof, yikes.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of how I see it as. Like, it's something. Now, as a Christian, I can't say that I'm okay with this witchcraft.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at it the way we should be looking at it, as symbolism.
Yes.
Then I think it's something good for him to
have. I think it speaks to the power and the access to privilege. Like you said, magic was privilege. But the two things I wanted to bring up in this is the ramifications of slavery are still present because we see that Hannah, who is his great-great-grandmother, or one or the other, she is still actively involved in trying to save her family. And she had to make a choice that changed the course of her family for the rest of their life. Like,
this show really... The time in this show really had me because it's like stuff was happening all at the same time.
Yeah. Like the timelines is what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like... Okay.
It was throwing me like...
Yeah.
What year am I in?
It's true.
We're all in the same year. Okay.
And then I think it speaks to, like, yes, we still have power from our ancestors that went through slavery and survived that horrible, horrendous... Y'all know how it was. They survived that and still had the fight to go on. But we also still have issues and PTSD and trauma from those experiences as well. So I think they do a very good job of showing that because now we have Atticus who now has powers. We also have him who's now being used in this warlock convention because they want to take everything from you because you have these powers. It's like
not even just that. Like we think about his father, Montrose. His father, loosely said.
When we find that out in this episode, the second one.
Like just the way that he tries to, like first of all, his abuse that Atticus spoke about that in the very first episode.
Yeah.
About how his father used to abuse him, but in later episodes we see certain things that Montrose went through.
Yeah.
That happened to him. And if we, of course, we can bring everything back to slavery.
Of course.
Slaves used to beat their children before the master could beat their children.
To save their lives, yeah.
Exactly. And so that's what I was going to say about Underground. In Underground, in the very first episode, the mother killed her baby. And Jurnee was so upset about it. But where was her mother from? She's somebody.
Tegan from How to Do Murder.
All right, sorry. Yes.
She's not that to me. She is that character. I cannot remember her name right now. Ernestine.
But and
She's
she was
Steen from
telling
Underground.
Jurnee like you have to imagine what that mother thought that her child would have to go through.
Yeah.
And her killing her child, you
Was
see it
saving
as
them.
exactly you see it as something horrible, but she feel like she's stopping them from going through a horrible life.
Yeah. Did you watch Underground before that, or did you just start?
No, I just started watching the show.
Okay. And because of this,
Well, I saw a couple of episodes when it was on PBS, but I hate that channel. So, cause it's it's like low budget.
yikes.
Cause it's a local
Public.
channel. Like it's like I can't. I honestly,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of black shows come on. Well, a lot of the black shows that I like came on local channels, and I just don't like local channels.
Wow.
But I some of them I stuck out. But
Well,
whatever.
it is on Hulu.
It's on Hulu
now,
now.
and it is amazing. And I think all of you guys should watch it, just if you want to get into Misha's directing and storytelling style, and also seeing how amazing Jurnee was in that too. But it literally directly can relate to this. It could be like a prequel to this.
Yeah, so like Montrose like feeling like he's doing certain things to like help Tick or save Tick, and it's just like yeah, right. Like are you, but you don't know because you feel like you're trying to do something to help your child. So I mean I'm not a parent, so I can't really say how, they make the decisions to help their children. Well, I guess I'll find out one day. I don't know. So I won't speak. I won't speak very negatively on that because I'm not in that
in this
position.
current knowledge. Yes.
Yes. At this time, I think that sometimes parents feel like they helping, but they really not.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I got here, honestly.
Because of Montrose, and we started with Hannah and how she had to. Atticus ended up in a situation because of that. And then Montrose and all of that. Basically, family trauma, PTSD. The one thing I want to speak about, too, we got to really wrap this up, guys.
Yes.
But the one thing I want to speak about is, this episode is called Whitey's on the Moon. And when they're doing the ritual, they're reading this poem, and it's called Whitey's on the Moon. And the poem is basically saying all of these things that are happening to black people, and it's literally continuing to repeat that Whitey's on the moon. And it just hit me because it's like, these black people are going through all of this stuff. They're talking about like, a rat bit somebody and they didn't have no heat, they didn't have no water, but Whitey's on the moon. And it's like, we're dealing with very real things, and you guys have time to be exploring, to be using funds, and to be out here in a whole different planet so far away from us, from our issues, from our struggles, that you have no connection to this. And in that moment when we see how they're using Tick, like he's literally burning right before their eyes, burning, and they just chanting and waiting to see what's going to happen, because it's speaking to how white people have this privilege of being detached from this struggle. If they can look right at it, and they still had no connection to the pain that it was causing him. They had no connection to how this would affect Uncle George and Letty when he's no longer a part of it. They had no care, no connection. And that poem does a really good job, and I'm not sure who wrote it, but I'll look and put it in our notes. But it really just struck me because it just really it set in that scenario. When I first watched it, I was just like, why would they use it? And then I was so caught up in the visuals that I didn't listen. And the second time when I watched it, I listened and watched, and I was just like, wow. Like some things, people are really out here struggling. And in a society where we built this on race, we have white people that black people built this country, but we have white people that are in this country that every day can go and do frivolous things, and black people are struggling to survive every single day, and there's no care.
Yeah,
There's no
kind
connection,
like
no
we
concern.
were talking about the hate you give earlier, and we were talking about the white girl. Remember when they were in her house talking, and she was like, I mean, well, what about I don't really think it's that serious.
Yeah.
Like what about the officer side?
Yeah.
And then I forgot her name, but the black girl, when she got really upset, like, do you understand what's going on right now? Like they are legit so withdrawn from everything that's happening. It's just like, what you crying about? Like it's not that deep.
And then the thing I think that is like the hate you give. The boy was dead. The cop was still alive.
Right.
So it's like you're telling us to have sympathy for this man that's living and still has life, when we're worried about this man who's no longer here, he didn't even have the chance to become a man.
Exactly.
And it's just so dismissive and disrespectful to me, and I hate that because it's kind of like even down to when we see shootings on social media, on the news, and it's like, well, what did he do? That's the first thing that crosses your mind,
right? Not that a human life was taken.
A human life was taken. A family's trajectory is changed forever.
Right.
Kids without fathers, like it's so much that's changed in this instance.
Right.
And even after these police go to jail as they deserve to do, and if ever they do, they can live a life. They can be reformed. They can still be out here and see their family. He can never do that. She can never do that. This child can never do that. And to have people say like, oh, well, like that to be the first response is just, it makes me enraged.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, as it does with all of us. I mean, it's just like, I think what gets under our skin the most is that it's so dismissive. It's a spirit, like you just act like, like it's no care to it. And once again, it's because it doesn't directly affect. And when it does, it's like, oh, their faces on the milk carton, and you know what I'm saying? And everybody is out, and you know what I'm saying? They trailing the neighborhoods, and they got hundreds of people in a line going to go.
Birds.
I'm just saying, it's just like they see the severity of it then. You know what I'm saying? And they don't put two and two together. Like the same way that y'all gather up all the people that you all know to go look for Susie or John, you know what I'm saying?
Right, like them. First of all, them two little white girls, that Casey Anthony situation, and that little pageant doll girl,
John Bonet. Y'all still won't let her die.
Looking for that girl.
Y'all still won't let. It's just crazy.
And don't talk about Jimmy Hoffa.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the same way that those things affect you all is the same way that it affects us, but a lot worse because we deal with it a lot more.
Yeah.
And we are trying not. Yeah, and we are trying not to. I don't even know if this is a word. Desensitize ourselves from it. Because it's like, because it happens so much, and it's so cavalier to you all, like, ugh, like another black.
And, I think that's the thing. It's really hard not to be desensitized.
Yeah.
Because as black people having to live in this, and even with, like, when we spoke about how Letty and Uncle George didn't have any, like, understanding of what was going on, they had no connection to it. But
let's be very clear, they had a spell on them.
They had a spell on them, yes. And
they felt it when it was time for them to feel it.
As soon as it came off, they felt everything. But in that moment, it's like it's a survival tactic. And it's the same way that our ancestors, where you just saw a slave beat in front of you and you fear for your life. You can't speak out because now you're going to die. Like, there's a way that you have to make this torment and this torture normal so that you can get through it.
Right.
And
or act like it don't even happen. Yeah, like, you know how many times I scroll past videos that are like, so there's been another recent video. This little boy, he's a teenager coming home, and they ran up on him at his house, and he's literally screaming for his father. He's like, Dad, Dad, Dad. And when they finally open the door, the police won't tell the parent, said to the father specifically, back up before you get it too. And the video got cut off. I didn't hear the rest of it. But black woman always ready to pop off for their people. She like, what you mean he gonna get it too? Like it don't, like, it's just so innate in us to protect ours.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I hate America. But it's just like, it took me a lot of times it takes me a while. Like I still don't think I've seen the entire George Floyd video. I've seen, like, I've never seen anything involving Breonna Taylor. Like, that's like some of that. I just have to, like, I might can read some stuff, but to watch that stuff over and over again, it literally takes life out of you.
Yeah.
And of course, well, not of course, but most of the stuff that I follow on social media, like, it's all centered around black people. I mean, not everything is centered around black people, but majority is centered around black people.
Not them little mini food things you be watching. And them nail things.
And for some reason, the DIY always gets
she
me.
be watching them make pancakes.
Like, I just be like, this is so stupid. But who is adding the views? It's me. It's me. But that's the type of stuff that, like, I can just sit there and just not be depressed looking at it.
Yeah,
That's probably why.
Taxing.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I don't, like, I can say, oh, this is stupid. Well, I can laugh at it. Like, the unnecessary things that white people do for DIY videos. Like, why are you turning these jeans into a shirt?
Because Whitey's on the moon.
Good child. Oh my gosh. We should read Whitey's on the Moon Part 2. It's coming.
We'll do it.
Coming to y'all. It's coming. But yeah, like having to watch that stuff repeatedly, like legit. Sometimes I had to tell myself I need to stay off of social media for a while because baller alert, the shade room, melanin something this, and I'm happy to be a black woman this. Like they're going to put the same videos up over and over and over and over and over
for
again.
Awareness.
And that's what it's for, but it's like it's repeated on your time. Like it's just to have to live through that. I can't remember the quote right now, but it was just saying it. Dang it, who said it? But it was talking about to be a black person in America.
In a state of rage at all times.
All freaking times.
Yeah, it's true. But I think now the one thing that I do like that they have is the warnings. Like you have to want to do that. So I do appreciate them for bringing that because I'm a person that I want to know.
But I think that you I don't know if that's automatically put on there.
I think it's more current now.
I was going to say, I've been seeing it a lot lately.
I didn't select anything for it.
And I definitely haven't selected it because, I'm not.
I know what I'm saying is I think that maybe sometimes people have to put that on there.
They have to put that on the video if they
right,
upload
because
it's not
there are times that I'm just shocked. Like, wait a minute.
That's true.
Wait a minute.
Not Ray J.
Not
but
Ray J.
It's just like, dang it, the train.
I know, that's what always happens.
It's just that whole thing about having to constantly digest this trauma is a lot. And I really I think I looked at the person I was working with, I looked at their phone because they was scrolling and I was being Beyonce. So I looked at their phone and I was just like, so much stuff that comes up on theirs is so opposite of mine, like dogs, food, DIY. Something stupid, and on mine it's
got
like
a little white in me, I guess.
And on my not dogs.
Call me catechist. No, don't call me catechist. I hate cats.
And so on mine it's like you can do this. Life will get you through. Black people are this, and then it's like 5,000 this, like here's another police brutality. Like it's so different what we have to see and what we have to digest, and to constantly have to do that and deal with that. It's a state of trauma for all black people. And I think it really is, and it sucks to. I mean, even down to us having a very hard conversation, like it breaks my heart. And I know after the Breonna Taylor situation, I was really in a bad place because there's certain things where it's like, okay, I can take this as information. Like Candace said, it's different from reading it and seeing it. And there's certain things that hit so close to home. And I think that I didn't feel this way. The last time I felt as strongly as I did was at Tatiana Jefferson, because it's literally like I said to myself, like, I do this stuff all the time. She was in the house playing the game with her nephew.
Right.
And then, you know what really got with me with Breonna? I was like, wow, that could have been Aaron.
It could have been, yeah, because she in Louisville.
Like, at first I didn't think about it, but then when I started, like, thinking about it, I was like wow.
Basically, guys, it could have been someone that we know.
And it's just...
Because they don't know Aaron.
They know Aaron. But it's just, it's just like I think that's why it hit so much closer to home, and to know like literally sleeping, and then to hear, okay, people that's justifying this, and then the charges that they were bringing up, it just was like, I just was broken at that point, and it took me some days. Like I cried, I prayed, I cried and prayed, and I just was like, it sucks to be at the place where you lose faith in what you're in. America in the system. It sucks to be in that place. But then I had to bring myself together and say, for the generations coming, what do I need to do to make sure that this doesn't repeat itself? Because I think a lot of people have...
And that's the thing about it. Sleeping, like, should people not sleep? Like, so it's like, you think about, like, what can I do to make this better? But it's like, what can I do to just
like
live?
Overthrowing the government. But I get what you're saying.
But still, it don't
Everything
matter.
WB.
Like... It's just like that's sometimes, and that's what I think I was trying to say this earlier. Like, that's one of the things I really struggle with. Like, knowing where we are, knowing where we, like where we've come from, and knowing that it's like it's far, but really it's still not that far, because they can shoot someone in their sleep and
several times
be paid for a vacation. and
kneel on
not
somebody's
go
neck
to jail
with
and
evidence. Yeah.
be fine, be protected,
And
stand
sue
back
them.
and stand by and be
And sue them. I think that's really what just
like that's the kind of stuff that sends me. So this lady at my job, she always say, "Girl, I'm just living to live again," and not to sound like so down and like bad, like depressed or nothing like that, but. And I'm not ready to die. I would like to get a couple things before my
some moves to
family,
make.
you know, couple, you know, maybe properties, things like that. Leave a legacy, you know, if we don't all go with the rapture. I'm not sure when that's coming, but sometimes I'm just like, all right, Lord, just let me know when you're ready, because I don't see things like this changing. So it's just hard being black in America.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
But this show does a good job of showing all of those dimensions.
It does.
And the horrors are real, and we deal with it every day. And I think,
and
honestly,
we still make it through.
I would prefer the monsters over the whites. I would.
Girl.
But we're gonna get into this show. We talked about it much more. I mean, it took us this long to break down just the first 2 episodes, because that's how we did. But you know, just make sure y'all listen and let us know what y'all think, because this show was definitely hot on social media, and it's still, you know, it's done. So watch it as much as you can.
And Black America and maybe some white Americans, I don't know, but I'm really proud of y'all for supporting this show. Like
Absolutely.
I saw like hood niggas watching this show.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I mean, do you understand everything that they're saying? But I do appreciate that you watching
you will
it.
try to add
I was gonna
more
say,
now.
they'll probably go through it and then review it again and
then
things like that.
listening
And
to
then with
us-
discussion, I was gonna say, and then with open discussions about it, it'll open your eyes to really see what you need to see and
push
get
their
your
interest.
personal perspective and see how it's affecting you in reality when you really think
And
about it.
get your criticism, so that if there is something else that's coming, they'll know what you want to see,
Right.
and target it to that audience.
Exactly. So, you guys, of course, what you've already heard has been great, because that's just who
Modesty.
we are, and we have so much more to come. But we want you all to talk to us and let us know how you felt about this episode, how you felt about what we discussed, and what we did not discuss yet. So email us at blackgirlbroadcast@gmail.com.
And of course, you can follow us on social media on Instagram at blackgirl.broadcast_BGB, on Twitter at BLKGRL Broadcast, and on Facebook by searching Black Girl Broadcast.
And thank you for listening on your favorite podcast site. Let somebody else know to listen and to subscribe and to leave a comment and a rating and a review, and to turn on your notifications so that you will know when your girls are back. And always make sure that you try to check out YouTube to see us, because we're amazing.
Yes.
On both platforms, on not social media, on the podcast sites and on YouTube, you can just search Black Girl Broadcast and we'll be there for you.
Oh, Michael Jackson.
Just a go-away show, honey.
And I always, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but I try to take the time in our show notes to put things that we reference, you know, little inside jokes and stuff, videos.
Inside.
La Murder. Inside jokes and stuff that we talk about, and also relevant information that we bring up. And just in case you like, what was it talking about, whatever. So check out the show notes there on the Apple Podcast. It's on Podbean. And, you know, click the links and you'll see and get more into like the background and what we talk about and things like that. So definitely take advantage of that. But until next time,
Recognize your power before they do.
ooh. Tap into your magic.
That's beautiful. See y'all next time.
Peace.